Okay, let's cut right through the noise, shall we? You've probably seen the headlines about Mexico, you've heard some of the concerns, and you're asking a really smart question. What does it all actually mean if you're thinking about investing in the Riviera Maya? Well, let's dive in and get some real clarity on this. So, a headline like this pops up on your screen. It's designed to make you stop. And let's be honest, it works. It can make any investor, even just a traveler, take a step back and think twice. That little bit of hesitation you might feel, totally understandable.
And that really gets us to the heart of it, doesn't it? Is a big, scary, nationwide headline telling the same story as the reality on the ground in a very specific and, a very unique part of the country? To figure that out, we've got to separate the fear from the facts. So let's start peeling back the layers.
First things first, we have to tackle the biggest issue right out of the gate: context. We're about to see why the idea that one single story could possibly define a country of this size just doesn't hold up. For any investor, getting this part right is, well, it's everything.
So here's the crucial point. Mexico is massive. We're talking about the 13th largest country on the entire planet. It has 32 different states, each with its own vibe, its own economy, its own reality. So trying to paint that entire incredibly diverse nation with one single brushstroke from a news story, it's not just an oversimplification, it's fundamentally misleading.
Now let's get even more specific. Because when you're talking about security and where to put your money, geography is king. The distances we're about to look at are, well, they're staggering, and they completely change the conversation. And check this out, because this slide really puts it all into perspective. The conflicts you might read about are often happening in states like Jalisco. Judging the Riviera Maya based on what's happening there, it's literally like judging the safety of an investment in Madrid based on something going on all the way over in Warsaw. They are, for all practical purposes, entirely different worlds.
And here's the hard number to back that up. We're talking about a distance of over 1,500 kilometers. That's more than 900 miles. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't like a different city next door. It's a completely separate geographical and economic reality, with a totally different security dynamic.
So, when we say Riviera Maya, let's be really clear what we mean. We're not talking about the whole country. We're talking about this specific, world-famous corridor. You know the names: Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum. These places form their own unique economic ecosystem, a micro-market that really plays by its own rules.
Okay, so we've established where this micro-market is. But the million-dollar question, or maybe the billion-dollar question, is why is it so stable even when other parts of the country face challenges? The answer isn't a happy accident. It's actually baked right into its economic DNA.
You see, the entire engine of the Riviera Maya runs on one fuel: international tourism and investment. Its survival, let alone its incredible growth, depends 100% on being a safe and stable place for people to visit and to invest in. So safety here isn't just some nice-to-have feature, it is the absolute core of the entire business model. And that economic reality creates these three incredibly powerful, self-reinforcing pillars of stability. First, because this region is basically a national treasure, there's a huge, coordinated security presence from both the federal and state governments. Second, since tourism brings in so much foreign income from Mexico, protecting this area is a top national priority. And third, you have constant international oversight, from the big hotel brands to foreign embassies, all of whom have a major interest in keeping things secure.
All right, so the logic here is pretty solid. But as any smart investor knows, logic is one thing, proof is another. So for this next part, let's use one of the oldest and most reliable tricks in the book. Let's just follow the money.
Just pause for a second and think about this with just pure common sense. If those scary headlines actually reflected the reality on the ground here, what would these multi-billion-dollar companies, the ones with entire departments dedicated to risk assessment, what would they be doing? They'd be running for the exits, right? Selling off assets, pulling out as fast as they could.
But what's actually happening? What does the data show? Are airlines cutting routes? Nope, they're adding more. Are giants like Hilton and Marriott selling their hotels? No way, they're building massive new ones. Is foreign investment drying up? It's hitting record highs. New airports, a new train line, a huge boom and people moving here from all over the world. Every single measurable indicator of confidence is pointing straight up. Capital doesn't have feelings, it's pragmatic. And it is flowing in, not out.
So this brings us to the final wrap-up. The point of this whole explainer wasn't to tell you what to think. It was to give you the tools and the context to make your own decision, one that's based on specific data, not generalized drama. So when we actually look past the headlines, what's the clear reality of the Riviera Maya? Well, it's a uniquely resilient economy driven by tourism. It's a high-growth corridor that's one of the most recognized destinations on Earth. It's an absolute magnet for people looking for a better lifestyle and for retirees. And, maybe most importantly for an investor, it's a region with a proven, undeniable, and ongoing flood of capital investment.
And that's really the key takeaway in all of this. It all starts with getting the right perspective. That perspective is what cuts through all the noise and gives you clarity. It's that clarity that builds real, data-driven confidence. And ultimately, it's that confidence that allows you to see and seize a genuine opportunity. Thanks for watching.